Hello, my favorite mathematicians. Welcome to 1.7 part 2 of dividing fractions by fractions. This is the video you've been looking forward to. Why? Well, take a look at that essential question. How can I divide a fraction by another fraction without models? Guys, you've done a great job of modeling how to divide fractions, and I think we're probably really close to being modeling experts at this point. So now it's time to move past those models and get to the shortcut. So let's gather our needed supplies. They're the same things that we always need: a writing utensil, our math notebook, a growth mindset, and some determination, because we're tackling our learning goal today. I can divide fractions without models. We're going to take a look at that same problem that we looked at in part 1, 4/5 divided by 1/4. And we're going to do it without a model. So let's jump in with step 1, which is to keep the first fraction. Super simple. You just keep 4/5, you write it down again, you're good to go. Easy peasy. Step 2 is to do the inverse operation. What in the world does that mean? It sounds super fancy. Well, inverse, my mathematicians, is a fancy math word that simply means the opposite. And then operation, well, that's something like adding, subtracting, multiplying, or in this case, dividing, because we're dividing fractions. So we want to do the opposite of dividing, which is what? You got it. It's multiplication. So we kept that first fraction, 4/5. We're changing division to multiplication because we want to do the inverse operation. And now we're ready for step 3, which is to change that second fraction to the reciprocal. Another fancy word, it means flip it. Instead of 1/4, we're going to make it 4/1. Okay, so you might remember this little trick, keep, change, flip. And now you're allowed to use it because you understand why this works, because you've modeled the same problem. Okay, so now we have 4/5 times 4/1 because we rewrote it. So step 4 is just to work this, to go ahead and multiply. When you multiply fractions, it's super simple. You multiply straight across. So 4 times 4 and 5 times 1. Well, that's going to give us 16/5. 4 times 4 is 16. 5 times 1 is 5. Or we can rewrite that as a mixed number and call it 3 1/5, which is the answer we got in part 1 when we modeled it. All right, so now you have those steps: keep, change, flip. You are ready to pause the video and try the next set of problems on your own and then come back and check. Okay, hopefully you came up with 16/15, 6/6, or 1, 16/6, 8/5, or 40/10. And you may have chosen to rewrite some of those as mixed numbers, and if you did, that's okay. We'll check those when we check your notes. If you missed one or you're unsure, please pause the video, go back, check your keep, change, flip, check your multiplication, ask for help if you need it. But that, mathematicians, is 1.7 part 2, dividing fractions by fractions, where we can now divide fractions without a model. Thank you, Amy Grosbeck, Amanda Newsom, and Bricks and Borders for your amazing font and clip art. Mathematicians, go forth and be amazing.